magnet school. It's really the only STEAM school we had. So adding Conoke and North for the elementary and the high school piece will give us another K-12 strand for STEAM. So now we'll turn it over to the Wiley team.
Clearly, we can all use help in the T part. Kim, is there something to so that it projects the laptop?
You're asking me, I'm
Well,
sorry.
hold on, I think
Got it.
We're trying to get it to,
we can see it on the screen.
we just can't get it to break it.
It's the box up there.
We're going to do our presentation from up here. So thank you all for being here today. I'm Lisa Bodenheimer. I'm the principal at Wiley Magnet Middle School. And with me today is Sean Reeves, our magnet coordinator, and Betty Jo Moore, who is one of our foundations to STEAM at Wiley. She's been there for several years and will continue with us as we move forward in what that looks like as part of expeditionary learning. So as we move forward in expeditionary learning, we've already created our mission, our vision, and our core beliefs. Our mission is that we at Wiley Magnet Middle School, we will inspire students to become responsible leaders through hands-on experiences, rigorous quality work, character, and self-reflection. All of those components of which are foundations in expeditionary learning, which we will call EL learning for the sake of the tongue twist going forward. Our vision is at Wiley, you will get wired, because Wiley students are innovative, responsible, engaged, and driven for success. Our core beliefs is that we believe in every child. Expeditionary learning at Wiley is not a school within a school. Every student who walks through our doors will participate in our programming. We believe that we will work together as a team, not an administrative team, not an interdisciplinary team, but as a Wiley team. And that we will embrace every moment while students are in our building as a positive opportunity for learning. Some of the foundational components of Wiley EL Magnet Middle School is that expeditionary learning comes with core practices that will permeate everything we do. We must depend on our community partnerships. We cannot educate our children in isolation. But it's not just about us taking from the community, but us giving back to the community through service, learning, and contributions. Also, professional development. What we've learned as a magnet school in existence now is that teachers cannot effectively implement a magnet theme or a magnet program without professional development. So EL provides that to us through online resources and tools. It's also an integrated approach of curriculum and instruction. EL is not something that we're going to do to children. It is how we naturally integrate curriculum and instruction and assessment for learning. Finally, this is also not something that we're going to flip a switch and say, today we're an EL school. It must be implemented over time. Unless we effectively embed the core practices as a foundation, we won't be able to move forward. So we anticipate at minimum a 3-year implementation for EL to be effective. And this is also one thing that was very critical to us, is that everything we do as a magnet school also be aligned to the magnet pillars, to our district's core values, and to the imperatives that are going to lead us, our district, to a success, but Wiley being a piece of that. The key dimensions of expeditionary learning, the first is on culture and character. That is the beginning piece. And so the entire first year of implementation is on nothing but creating the culture and the environment for students to be engaged, to provide that rigorous learning experience, but by having the behavior in the classroom being such that students can learn. And it is across all content areas. This is not just about science or technology. It's in everything we do. The language for EL learning is we are crew. That is our teamwork. Everything is around the concept of crew and individual teams. We will continue, however, to use PBIS as a way to create that culture, and the community service piece, which also enhances the character of our students. The second dimension is curriculum. Rigorous, real-world application, hands-on learning, so that students aren't just taking in, but also must apply what they're doing in context, in the community, to make it more authentic. For that, they're called learning expeditions, and Mr. Reese will talk a little bit more what that means in expeditionary learning. The third key dimension is instruction. If you don't have quality instruction, you can have the best curriculum in the world, but if you're not delivering it in a way that students can learn, then it's not effective. Ms. Moore will share with you about inquiry-based learning and the best practices in STEAM that will integrate with EL for the instructional piece. The fourth key dimension is assessment. The practices of assessment in EL is probably one of the things that makes it more different than what we've been doing in the past. Almost everything in expeditionary learning is assessed through the use of rubrics, through the use of products, and through the use of evidence of student learning. So there's not very many paper pencil tests. It really is about students being able to demonstrate by evidence what they've learned. We believe this will also tie in very well to MTSS as we move forward with that, because this assessment practices will allow us to determine what students need different interventions for them to be able to be successful and demonstrate learning in various ways. And finally, it's the fifth dimension, but I believe it's also the one that without it, none of this will be effective, which is leadership. The job of leadership is to create the right environment and create the framework and the supports that allow the teachers to do the other four dimensions. So in that way, it's not just about the administrative leadership, but also creating teacher leadership and shared leadership within the building.
Okay, so we are crew. Just to kind of give you a background about we are crew. Idealistically, we would like for all of our students, when they go into a teacher's classroom, no matter which teacher they go to, there will be an establishment of norms that each of those students will abide by. So we have broken up these into two criteria, one being performance and the other being relational. As you see on the screen, performance will focus on organization, perseverance, craftsmanship, reliability, and problem solving. And the relational will focus on kindness, honesty, integrity, empathy, helpfulness, and motivation. What we possibly see and what we would like to see happen, currently we have an X period, which is at the beginning of every school day, about 45 minutes. We would like to see those X periods turn into a crew period where our students will be able to have a cohort of other students that they come into the crew program with and then exit out of Wiley in their 8th grade year with that same cohort of students. The teacher facilitator could possibly change, but we would like to have that atmosphere of family with our cohort of students from grade 6 through grade 8. For PBIS, as Mrs. Bodenheimer explained, crew will be our overarching goal for how we will establish behavior norms in our school, and then we can back off of that using MTSS and focusing on students who are not fully aligned with those or who need other interventions from the PBIS program. And then on top of that, because we are expeditionary learning, we are purposeful in coming up with some type of positive expeditions that our students can participate in just to encourage that positive behavior. So for instance, our relational piece of the culture and character is kindness. We could possibly have a field trip or an expedition where students would actually focus on exhibiting kindness in that avenue, or integrity or empathy, for example. And next I'll leave it open to
We're tag teaming.
Mrs. Moore for our curriculum.
Not quite. The curriculum piece away from that at all. However, the standards will be the guide to the instruction and the assessment. So the grading practices, leaning more towards standards-based, will be significantly different. Furthermore, we believe that PLTs will remain the vehicle through which we develop this, our curriculum and our instruction through EL. And then finally, EL is very much founded in literacy, not just language, but mathematical literacy, technological literacy. And so we will definitely be bringing in the training for that to be a significant part of our curriculum and instruction. And then STEM and STEAM, our maker movement is becoming very much a part of our media coordinators' role in our school. So the maker movement will also be a key piece of our expeditions. Also our technology innovation, so within STEAM, that technology piece is one of our niches that our classroom teachers have embraced as we work with district leadership. So that curriculum will also remain a key focus as we move forward with EL. And then finally, our dream big is that due to the wonderful results of the bond and our community support and our district support, when our gym is renovated in 2020, that will include 6 brand new STEAM classrooms. We are not fortunate enough to be where Conroe is with nice boards. I'm going to hold on till we get there, but that will allow us to design our own discrete EL courses around the interests of students, around where we know we will be 4 years from now, so that we can offer something that doesn't even exist yet.
Okay. Back to the expeditions that we kind of talked about at the very beginning. For curriculum, we feel like this is one of the driving pieces for our new magnet theme. So for the curriculum, we wanted to make sure that we have dedicated time that our teachers will be able to collaborate and to be very strategic in looking at all the standards and focusing on the standards, seeing where they align, and actually mapping out expeditions that align with those standards so that our students will come in and see in the 6th grade all the way through the 8th grade how all of these standards align on the horizontal level within their grade level, but also vertically all the way through 8th grade. So how do we do that? The big scope of creating these expeditions, again, in the 3rd year of implementation, we would like for these expeditions to be very long, so that our students can build on the experience and also actually capitalize on high quality work within that. So they are ultimately 6 to 8 weeks long. They're interdisciplinary, so we would have time for teachers to work together in those PLTs or in those staff meetings so that we can actually align those standards and see what best fits and which expeditions will fit that curriculum the best. Developing skills, which are very important to our students in the area of critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration. So these skills would transfer from one class to the other. Our plans would also include targeted lessons or targeted goals. We would have guiding questions within those lesson plans, kickoff experiences, something that really engages our students to be able to access the learning, presenting case studies to the students, and also actually giving them some type of evidence of performance, some type of project or some type of authentic audience that they could actually go and present their findings to. The lessons would also include field work, so a little later in the discussion we'll talk about some community partners and community business partners that we have identified as potentials that we could actually create some field work experience for our students to participate in as well. And I think one of the most critical pieces is that as teachers, we are experts in what we do, but with expeditionary learning, it allows us to think out the box and actually coordinate with experts in the field on day-to-day, their daily routine, but also to coordinate their schedules with our students' schedules so that the students can actually see real-world practice of what's going on in the field. Renota House has graciously agreed to be our business partner to kind of support us in the initiative that we're trying to do. So out of all of these that you see, Renota House is the only one that's not in a half-mile radius. So we purposely did a little research on some of the businesses that are outside of pretty much the backyard of Wiley. So a half-a-mile radius. Students could potentially have a walking field trip to these area businesses and participate in these expeditions and fieldwork experiences, with Renota House being instrumental in helping us to secure these within the community diagnosis, we asked the question of what are some qualities that you see are very important for middle school students to be able to have? And overwhelmingly, you kind of see the results here. Leadership was top of the board, so we want to make sure that we capitalize on that and continue to instill leadership within our middle school students. Being responsive in problem solving, actually having to solve problems that mean something to those students is very important to our community as well. That's why we would like for our students and our teachers to collaborate and start figuring out what are the problems out there in the community that need to be solved that really impact us in the school. And character development, again, another big one for the 80%, which gives us more confidence to continue that crew, or we are crew mentality within our PBIS system. And on this slide, you see a couple of direct quotes from some of the people who responded to our survey. I think Wiley students can address issues important to the community, such as food inequality, public education, environmental issues around clean, safe drinking water, or basically whatever issue students seem to be inspired by the most. And the other side, the community is a fixed mindset that the middle school experience is just a way station. Elementary is seen as a foundation, and the high school experience determines the career path. Wiley can work to shift the model and create new meaning for our community to value the middle school years, which I thought was pretty powerful.
As we look at instruction at Wiley, we are using the STEAM, under the STEAM lens. We teach through science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. So that encompasses the entire student, the entire creativity experience. And I have to focus on the A because a lot of people think that the A is just art and we take drawing into consideration. But if we look at the creativity and focus on bringing out the creativity of the student through language, through poetry, through whatever, I mean, it embraces and embodies what we're really doing at Wiley at the moment. It's a foundation for core practice for our instruction. The IBL piece fits in beautifully because inquiry-based learning really connects that whole 5E lesson plan that we currently use in science, and now it bridges the gap and it crosses it into the other instructional areas. And it really embodies a student into the idea that they want to be inquisitive, they want to be curious, they want to come in and they want to learn more. So we're seeing that as we shift over to IBL and get the training, we're seeing that mindset changing of students. It's now becoming almost a cycle of learning of sorts, that they are now coming in and they're beginning to question things in a different way, and we're seeing that switch, and it's really a beautiful change to see. And EL at Wiley right now, as you can see, we're seeing improved student engagement, and of course with PBIS we track the numbers and we can see changes in the way discipline is, and the way students come in more focused, more engaged, more wanting to find out what else is in the world that they can use and embrace and find out about, and then somehow that they can link it to something that they might want to do when they go further into the world. So we're seeing that switch, which has really been evident. Rigorous real-world learning is going on. We have students Skyping with real scientists. We have students doing interactions with scientists and other professionals in different fields as they come in, or if we do it through technology. And students are very focused and very inquisitive about what else can they do. It's not just, we want to get them focused on what's outside of their own neighborhood. Where can they add value to the world? What else can they do, and how can they change the world? The beauty of this is it does all, as you can see through our planning guides that we're using in PLTs, is that when we are rolling this out, we're offering that support through our PLT meetings. And it's really been great because, as you can see, as we're introducing and we're making sure that we're focusing on the STEAM, but now we're also focusing on this, what we want to call synergy for success. And I put it that way only because as we focus on the child's cycle of learning, we're telling them to question things, to investigate, to create, to discuss, and then reflect on what they've learned. And we're seeing that in our PLT. So through PLT support, we're giving that to one another to help each other out. How can we cross the curriculum with all this information? How can we make sure that we're supporting it through crew, through our students, to our students, with our staff? And it's working beautifully right now, and it's just something we'd like to see continue. And going back to this, you see service, teamwork. I can't empathy, analysis, and mastery. These are all things that are very, very important through the IBL, through EL, and it's really fundamental for these kids to understand how all this plays in, because this is true character building, if nothing else. And this is the way we want our students to move on into the world. They've been with us these 3 years, but we want to make a major impact on what they're learning and what they take out. And when they leave, we want them to serve in some capacity and fulfill amazing things in our communities, because they have that ability. So one of the things the cool thing about this is that EL and IBL, it's standard-based, it's compelling, open-ended, complex, concise. It's just everything in a really beautiful package that engages the learner in every possible capacity. And again, going back to the 5E lesson plan, which I use and have used for years in science, as we really focus on that engagement piece, the elaboration piece, all of those components, they can truly be used in every other possible subject we have, or that the student's exposed to, whether it be life skills, whether it be language arts, or whatever. We can use this, and the students they kind of expect it now. They know that it's a fun way to learn, it's a fun way to teach, and we can see this shift changing, and that's the beauty of it. If you come into any of our classrooms, you see this change, and you see the engagement, you see the rigor, you see the relevance, and the kids are just really excited about coming to school and learning, and that's why I really enjoy this.
So with all this new information, it may seem out of the box, but how do you assess that, and how do you put a grade to it? We're still wrestling with that ourselves. However, the thing that we really want to make sure, there is a level of accountability. One of our core values is accountability. We will teach our students how to improve their work to the point where if anybody sees it, whichever audience that may be, whether it's a teacher, a parent, or a community person, any stakeholder, they'll be able to read it, and it will be 100% accurate, and it'll be rolled out to the level of accuracy that if they work for that field experience person or business, then it would be on that level of work as well. For it to be student-centered, we want to make sure that our students are delivering their evidence of the work that they're doing. So we'll create opportunities for students to be able to do that, whether we have them at Wiley or we go out into the community. We want to make sure that we have exhibitions of learning and student-led conferences within the building, where we can invite people to come in and be an authentic audience for our students to show what they're learning and how it aligns with the things that are of value to them.
And the final core practice is that of leadership. And within leadership, there are 7 foundations that are critical in order for us to move forward. The first is I have to create for our team and for our staff the vision of where we're going. And the focus will be on student achievement and school improvement. The whole point of this is that our students are doing better and that our school is doing better. I also have to be responsible for, I meaning collective I, from the administrative team to the instructional support team to the classroom teachers, for structuring the opportunity for the alignment of the curriculum, the instruction, and the assessment. We have to create the conditions for that to happen. Data must be used to be able to drive our instruction, to drive our decision making, particularly when it comes to MTSS and being able to support our students who need something a little bit different. The positive school culture, and as you've already heard, the leadership and how we roll that out will also be our responsibility. Also providing professional learning and growth. Teachers can't do this without that, and EL is very well designed to already have that done for us, and we don't have to bring in a trainer. We can access those materials on our own and create that can be job embedded throughout our day without having to stop and start and have a before school starts or after school. We can do that as part of the structure that we already have in the building. It's also the shared leadership. This is not about the principal or the administrative team. This is about teachers making it happen in the classroom. And then finally, just creating the support to be able to sustain the achievement, to get the resources teachers need, and to advocate to the right people for that to happen. Brunson is in their first year of implementation, and what really got us on fire about this is to get to this point. And the work that he did has actually set the stage for us not to have to travel the same path. He opened doors and paved the way for us. We wanted you to hear some words from Jeff that also support where we're going.
We know that we're looking for their mastery of knowledge and skills, and we're looking for their character, we're looking for their high quality work. And so as we look across those three dimensions, it's really built our culture into one where we feel that every student can succeed, and that's really helped us a great deal. We have a gap at Brunson, and we don't like to shy away from it. We don't want to just admire it. We want to actually do something about closing that gap. And so as we look for strategies and tools and programs, EL rose to the top of the surface, and for the right reasons. And it's because it focuses on students, and it focuses on what teachers can do to impact students. And so it's made a huge difference in our world. We started, as a magnet school with engineering, kind of engineering is elementary and the STEM component. And now as we're moving with EL, they fit together so nicely about having students learn how to overcome failures and solve problems. And EL's made a big difference in that, huge difference. As we progress, what we really want to be able to do is to get them to just move and move and move all the way through that line. And if that line went further on into the middle school years with the same constructs, we are crew. If we are crew extended into Wiley, the students that would be kindergarten through 8th grade with that would be amazing. The students that are kindergarten through just 5th grade and then go off to a different middle school will still have that benefit of knowing how to collaborate and work with others. So it just makes great sense for us to go with a middle school component similar to the elementary component.
So finally, the benefits of becoming Wiley EL Magnet Middle School is that EL focuses on students, the school, and the community. Everyone benefits. It creates the vertical extension from Brunson so that that program doesn't just stop. It's appealing to a cross-section of our families because this whole point is that we want to reduce that minority group isolation and to desegregate not only our schools but our classrooms. It prepares students for life beyond school. The field experiences, the community service outreach, the learning expeditions, all make students see that it doesn't stop when they leave school at the end of the day. It's a natural integration of STEAM, the design process, and IBL. EL just becomes the umbrella under which we make it all fit. And then finally, it's about the whole student. It's about motivating and engaging students to achieve their potential.